I heard the words before I saw the glass. You're nothing but a useless old woman. Then the crack of a plate on marble, and my feet did that thing where they want to run, but your stomach says freeze. First week on the job, Whitfield Mansion sunroom glowing like a magazine spread, and there's Sloane Whitfield in a silk robe, fingers tight around Eleanor's wrist while the old woman whispers, "Please, please, I'm sorry." I stepped in and did what I learned growing up with my grandmother Ruth in Newark. Soften the room, lower the temperature, make my voice warm. "Mrs. Whitfield, it's Maya. Sunrise is pretty today, huh?" Eleanor tilted toward me like a plant finding light. "You came back," she said. Always, I told her, brushing china crumbs off her lap. Sloane's smile snapped on like a switch. "Finally." "Where were you?" "Your job is to be here." I said I was sorting Mrs. Eleanor's meds. "We're on Dr. Patel's new schedule, remember?" She rolled her eyes and let go of Eleanor's wrist. "Don't act like I don't know my own house." It wasn't just what she said, it was the tone. The kind people use when they think rules are for other people. And I'll be honest, I've heard that tone in banks, ERs, school offices. You know what I mean. I slipped my phone into my pocket where a voice memo app was already open. Newark teaches you something money forgets. If a thing is happening, write it down, timestamp it, lock it up. Grant Whitfield. Eleanor's son had hired me because he said my mother's early-stage Alzheimer's, we need steady hands. He didn't say my wife can make a room feel 10 degrees colder by walking into it. He didn't have to. Houses tell on themselves if you listen. I'm not a saint. I'm stubborn. I keep receipts, and I did 2 years at Brooklyn Law before life emptied my account. Didn't finish, didn't forget. So I showed up 15 minutes early, left 15 minutes late, bought a lemon-covered notebook. Date time, who said what, who was in the room. I tracked Eleanor's lucid windows, the songs that grounded her, how lavender oil beat television, every time how morning light through the east window gave me more of her for free. I also tracked darker things. Sedatives tucked in a ceramic sugar bowl, a second pill organizer that didn't match the chart, an antipsychotic bottle with a label that looked peeled up and stuck back by a shaky manicure. The first time Sloane realized I wasn't lowering my eyes, she tried polite. "You seem very invested, very involved. Sometimes help forgets help is help, you know." I said people with Alzheimer's respond to safety like plants respond to sunlight. I'm trying to give her sunlight. She laughed, sharp and pretty. "Is that the script they gave you at whatever agency?" "Here's my script," I said, still stirring soup, still steady. No screaming around the patient, no forced meds, no threats. Grant walked in on that line briefcase in hand and did what a lot of good men do. Looked at the scene and told himself he didn't see it. "What's going on?" "Nothing," baby Sloane sang, "just the schedule." He nodded at me like he wanted to be grateful and didn't know how. The pantry conversation was when the game changed. "We've had things go missing," she said lightly. "Earrings, petty cash, a brooch Eleanor loved. It's awkward, but do you know anything about that?" I smiled because the move was so predictable. "If you think I stole, call the police. I'll wait." Her cheeks flushed rosé. "That's not what I said." "It's exactly what you implied," I said. "And if you want, we can put cameras in the common areas so no one has to guess." Silence, loud. Grant approved cameras that night. Sloane said we're not turning our home into a surveillance state, and Grant said we're protecting Mom. I washed dishes and thought no one believes black women off our word alone, unless we bring the receipts. So I brought them. Voice-triggered audio, photo logs of pill counts, A spreadsheet that would make your algebra teacher cry. Dosages times what the doctor prescribed versus what Sloan pushed when no one was watching. When I had something real but not enough, I rode the train to Washington Heights on my day off, climbed 4 flights to my friend Diego's walk-up. We crammed torts together once, now he's an assistant district attorney with a stubborn cat and cheap coffee. I handed him a flash drive and my lemon notebook. I think there's elder abuse here, maybe more, I don't want to guess. He listened to 4 recordings, read about the sugar bowl pills, scrolled the med photos, then said, "Shit, Aya. This isn't just cruel. This is criminal. Illegal administration of controlled substances, if those labels are what they look like. Maybe fraud. If you can prove financial manipulation, we talk charges." "I don't have proof for the money piece," I said. "Then don't say it yet," he said. "Build what you can prove. Chain of custody matters. Forensics matters. A defense attorney will come for you hard." "Yeah, that happened before. Back in Harbor Point, Sloan got sloppy. She whispered, 'You're better quiet,' into Eleanor's ear, told guests. Oh, she's having an episode like that, covered sins, pushed tea that made afternoons vanish. Cameras caught hands on shoulders that weren't comforting, a shove that wasn't a stumble pill, bottles that didn't belong." I asked Grant to back up the footage off-site. He said, "Sure, if you think it's best," and that's when he stopped being a son with a calendar and started being a son with a spine. The turning point came late Thursday when the living room light felt like church. Eleanor had a clear flash, reached for my little magnolia necklace I wear for Nana Ruth, and said, "My sister had a tree like that in Macon. You think it's still there?" Sloan walked in, cut her eyes at me, and said, "You need to learn boundaries. You're confusing your role." "My role is to keep her safe," I said. "Yours is to do no harm." The air went tight. Grant stood in the doorway, sleeves rolled. "Maya, is my mother safe here when I'm not home?" I looked at him and thought about rent, about jobs you lose for telling the truth, then about Eleanor's fingers shaking around her teacup. "No, not with Sloan dosing her." Sloan laughed too loud. "Dosing? So dramatic." She told Grant I was making up stories to look important. Grant didn't look at her. He looked at me. "Can you prove it?" "Yes." I walked him through the logs, the footage, the labels that didn't match, told him I'd asked a prosecutor to separate fact from my anger. "There's enough to get a warrant," I said. He sat like someone took the bones out of his legs. "How long?" "As fast as the system lets us," I said, then cried into a dish towel in the kitchen. Because sometimes you have to let the feeling hit once so you can keep going. 2 mornings later, the bell rang at 7. Sloan opened the door in silk pajamas like a crown, and in came Sergeant Priya Desai and her partner, calm, like people who've seen everything, and behind them, Diego, with a stack of papers and that prosecutor face. "Mrs. Whitfield, Sergeant Desai said we have a search and seizure warrant issued by Judge Rios in connection with allegations of elder abuse and illegal administration of medications." Sloan laughed, brittle. "Wrong house. I care for my mother-in-law with my whole heart." Diego read the warrant like a hymn. Dates, exhibits, probable cause. "We'll be respectful and brief." They found the stash fast. A linen closet pharmacy, some labels from a clinic closed a year. 2 burner phones with texts that looked like grocery lists where the groceries were pills. They synced footage to my logs, let the timestamps sing harmony. Eleanor shuffled in with her slippers. "Is it Sunday?" "No, sweet girl, it's Tuesday," I said, "and nothing bad is going to happen to you today." Sloan turned on me. You set this up." "I set up safety," I said. "Consequences set themselves up." She stepped like she might slap me, and Sergeant Desai shifted just enough to remind everyone choices are being witnessed. The cuffs came out. Sloane pled pretty. "Grant, tell them this is a mistake. I'm your wife." He looked at his mother, then at me. "No. You're the person who hurt my mother while I was flying around, pretending I was doing my best. No yelling." It landed harder without volume. Outside, mist started the kind that sneaks under your sleeves. They led her past the hydrangeas to a black SUV that looked like a period at the end of a long, ugly sentence. Eleanor squeezed my hand stronger than you'd expect. "Thank you, baby. You are a good thing." Court took months. Lawyers stretched time like taffy. They tried everything. Character assassination, calling recordings fake, blaming hormones, stress the moon. Facts didn't care. Forensics held. The little white bowls in the little white kitchen told the truth better than any of us did. Guilty on elder abuse. Guilty on illegal meds. Guilty on fraud. No cheers. Just breathing. 6 months later, the house felt warmer. Not poetic. Literal. Sunlight reached spots that used to sit in shadow. Eleanor had more good days. Tuesdays she painted forget-me-nots, Thursdays she danced tiny steps with Grant in the kitchen, while I pretended chopping onions was what made my eyes sting. Grant asked me to help launch a foundation named for Eleanor and my grandmother. Elder Safety Caregiver Training Scholarships for folks with heart and brains and not enough money. I said yes. Diego called sometimes and said, "If you ever want to try law again, we could use someone like you." Maybe I told him. I'm already practicing something like it, just with softer chairs. Do I think Sloane was born a villain? No. I think she learned power protects you if you wear it right, and she wore it long after it started eating her alive. Do I think she deserved what she got? I think Eleanor deserved what she got. Safety, dignity, mornings where the tea is just tea. You can argue the rest. Here's my question for you. If Sloane had been a son instead of a daughter-in-law, same harm, same smile, same pedigree, do you think anyone would have believed me faster, later, or never at all? Drop your take below. Tell me where you draw the line between care and control, whether prison was justice or just the only tool we had, and if you've seen quiet cruelty in nice houses. What did you do? If this hit you, share it with someone who might need it tonight, and tell your story in the comments. Somebody out there is waiting for a reason to turn the lights on.